Thanks for joining me as I travel the world, going from fine dining through to street food and local specialties, all in an effort to find the world's best seafood. Welcome folks, in this episode of World's Best Seafood, something quite different. I'm not sure if I've ever done dim sum before, but I loved dim sum. Before I got started on YouTube, I used to have a blog, remember blogs? And I went and reviewed almost all of the different yum cha restaurants in Sydney, Australia, and my top award was the Golden Hagao Prize. Now, I think it is a good litmus test for if it's a good yum cha, how's the hagao, because everyone has it. That means shrimp dumpling. But then the quality really can vary. And in my experience, I'm currently in Hong Kong, the home of dim sum. The highest quality, most traditional ones tend to be fantastically delicious, but tiny. Now today I'm currently in hotel quarantine. I have 2 weeks in a hotel, having returned to Hong Kong. Eating the 3 meals a day that they provide gets really repetitive and boring, but fortunately you are able to order things in. So a few days ago I ordered in dim sum from a local place that I didn't know anything about, and it was really fantastic. So I ordered again and thought I would bring it along. Now I'm in a really basic hotel room. It doesn't have a microwave or anything like that. A couple of quick tips if you are ordering dim sum to home. If it's going to be delivered, there's a pretty good chance it's not going to arrive steaming hot like it left the restaurant. So if you have a steamer at home, that's the best way. Get all of the things out and give them a quick steam. If you don't, you could rely on a microwave. For things like hagao that have that glutinous rice shell, actually pouring some boiling water over them, then draining off most of it, and then warming them up is a good way, so there's some moisture in the box for them to absorb it. Seeing I don't have a steamer or a microwave here, you can actually see if we widen the shot, here's my little hack. I have one of those column radiator heaters. I stack the food on there, then put a towel over it so all the heat rising goes to the different items and it warms them up. So whenever I'm working and dinner arrives and I'm not ready to eat for 2 hours, I'll bring it in, and then half an hour before I want to eat, I'll pop it onto my radiator and then heat it up because they're all in heat-proof boxes. That's got another 5 minutes or so, I think, until it's ready, and then I'll show you my little stack and how I've done it. Okay, so let's take a look. The first one, you'll notice the top has a hole cut out of it because this one, I didn't realize when I ordered it, is actually fried. This is cumin beef tenderloin, and it looks pretty great. It smells pretty great. I don't normally order deep fried at yum cha, but it looks pretty nice. Now I have it on the outside because the reason that's cut open is to try and stay crispy so the steam can escape. Now this is my masterpiece, how I have put everything under the towel. So let me try and carefully take it off without knocking the pile over. Now I have to say, I replicated my order from last time, and I was doing work at the same time and kind of got carried away and added too much stuff. So some of this is going to be saved for dinner. This one most likely. This is a really cheap dish. This is rice with chicken and mushroom on top. You add soy sauce to that. This you might in a restaurant get in a clay pot, so it would have nice, really crunchy rice at the bottom. Next up, I got 2 pieces of silmai, which is the pork and mushroom dumpling. But these ones come with tiny little abalone on top, so that's kind of a nice touch. And last time it was fantastically delicious. Next up, beef balls. And you can see the tofu sheet underneath. These ones you put the Worcestershire sauce on. This is a prawn and vegetable. I think this is pea and bean sprout shoots. I didn't try that last time either. This one is pork chun fun rice roll, so barbecue pork in the rolled rice noodle. This is one of my favorites, but also one that I find isn't often done well, even a good yum cha to my taste. This is lobako, or radish cake, and it has Chinese sausage inside, but last time, this should be actually crunchy, but you can't get that. unless you steam it and then re-pan fry it at home, and I don't have those capabilities, but this was really nice last time. And then the hagao. Now you'll note these are actually really big. If you see the size of my hand, the last time I had these, they were just as delicious as the tiny ones I have at restaurants sometimes, but at double, literally double the size that you often get in Hong Kong. Okay, now this heater can go back to being my leg warmer. So I'm actually going to keep the lid on the mushroom chicken rice because that will be for dinner. That's just too much with all that rice. And I won't even get through all of this in one sitting. This is my first meal of the day, but it's a lot. This is really a yum cha for two. So let's take a look here. Oh, here we go. I was going to say that's disappointing, but here's our Worcestershire or Worcestershire sauce. So we'll pop that onto the beef balls. Then sweet soy sauce, 3 packs of this. The only one that really needs it up front is the chanfan. So we'll pour that over the top of it. I don't want to drown out the flavor, so I won't put more than one, and they do at the bottom tend to sit in it. Then it came with a chili sauce and chopsticks, actually 3 pairs of chopsticks. They did me the honor of assuming that this wasn't all for one person. Bon appetit, or sikfana. So let's start with the beef. Because of the cumin, it really reminds me of like Kazakh or outer Mongolia, outer Russia, skewers of lamb, that kind of thing. I'll be honest, I wish it wasn't deep fried. It's not my favorite, but the flavor is really good, and if you like deep fried food, then that would be a winner. Now I'm guessing there aren't probably too many people here who are in Hong Kong, but I will link this place. I've never been to the actual restaurant. I don't know if they're actually just a catering place or what, but the food is good and really reasonable price. The lo bak gao. Unless you have it homemade, you may not know how this should really taste. It should be screaming of radish flavor. And so many restaurants, even good ones, it's mainly flour that you're tasting, and it just kind of feels really stodgy. It's actually, despite looking quite heavy, it tastes quite light, and you should be getting the flavor of the pork and the various little bits of herb that they put in there, but mostly the radish. I can't stop myself, so let's try the hagao. Look at the size of that big boy. Oh, and you can see a little steam there too. Good, so my heater did its job. Great flavor. One thing for room service, being a bigger dumpling, the coating is thicker, and that is a bit stodgy now because I haven't re-steamed them. If it were the smaller size with the really thin coating, like this one looks to be really thin, I think they're going to be better for this kind of doing it again yourself at home, because it's easier to get the texture back to where it should be. You're here for seafood, so let's pinch one of these little abalone off the top of the silmai and try it by itself. I'll be honest, this is often just kind of a flex. It's just kind of a little luxury touch that doesn't really add much to the flavor. But it's got the abalone sauce on it. Texture is good. Tastes good. And the pork dumpling itself. So it's pork and mushroom. Again, really nice. The quality of pork silmai varies so much. Generally speaking, the ones that have big chunks of real meat are more traditional and more delicious. A lot of places they use kind of ground pork, and the texture is just like white bread compared to whole grain bread. Okay, let's try the shrimp and vegetable. First bite, the veggies are so tasty. There's some white pepper in there. It's really juicy. Lots of kind of soupiness in with the veggies. Try a little rice roll. Get one from the bottom. Easy to chop a manageable piece just using your chopsticks. The rice noodle is usually really soft and tender. Oop, this is going to be a big bite. A compliment I have to keep giving them. So often yum chow is like meat, seafood, vegetable, but you can't really taste the individual ingredients. So far here, everything, you can clearly taste the different flavors, and the flavor that, for my taste, should be the dominant one, like radish in this, shrimp in this, the cumin in this one, really comes through. And the veggies, often you don't have much of a taste of the veggies, or they're just so mushy, there's no texture to them anymore. These are all really, really well balanced. I'll have to try and go here and eat in. If it's this good reheated on a heater, it must be fantastic in shop. So, in with the tenderized beef, sorry. So in with the tenderized beef is a crunchy, I think it's a chestnut. That comes through really nicely, but the other herbs and vegetable that are in it, I don't really get a clear flavor of. So that may be the first one, but it's still above average for the beef balls, but maybe not quite as outstanding as the rest. Let me just give the beef a second try. This one's got a lot of cumin on it. One thing I have to say, that stereotype or joke about eating Chinese food and then you're hungry half an hour later, I don't get that with yum chow. I find it really filling. And to be honest, I think I'll eat half of this, not touch the chicken rice, and I'll have more than one extra meal here. So let me pop these into there so I can keep that in one box. You got to rotate your rice rolls so then they're all getting equal distribution of the soy sauce. It's very important. Honestly, I think a little bit more lobak go and a little bit more rice roll, and I'm pretty full. That was really delicious though. It's a Friday afternoon here. I'm on day 9 or so of 2 weeks of quarantine. It's getting a bit boring, so this is a nice little break up to the usual monotonous food that I get in the hotel. In terms of the damage, let me check. So you need to divide the price by about 8 Hong Kong dollars to get to US dollars. Oh, they missed a dish. I ordered chicken feet and it's not here. That's the first thing on the list. Well, that's no good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll write to them, and the app normally here gives you that back free. So the chicken feet would have been $36, which is $4.50 US. The snow pea prawn, the same, $4.50. The abalone, just for 2, is $46, so that would be $6 or so, just under. The prawn dumplings, the same. The rice roll is $38, so that's like $4.75. The beef tenderloin is actually the most expensive. That's $58. So that would be, what are we talking there, like $7. And then the mushroom is again $38, so $4.50, and that really is, you probably want some vegetables, but enough for a good lunch. So in total, once we take out what I didn't actually get, around about $35. So not a cheap lunch, but when you figure that it's probably 2.5 meals, and that brings it down to like $12 or $15 per meal or per person, and given the quality, I think it's pretty good value. Now, I'm back in Hong Kong. They have lobster and all kinds of great seafood that I probably can get delivered to the hotel, and I have another 5 days. So let me know as a comment, what would you like to see me try in the hotel, with the only aid that I have to heat it up being my column heater there. And I'll see what I can do. Again, I do this just for you guys. I hope you really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and if you enjoy these, share it on your social media with any foodie friends who might be interested. And I'll see you on my future journey to find the world's best seafood. Thanks for joining me as I travel the world, going from fine dining through to street food and local specialties, all in an effort to find the world's best seafood.